answer specifically for freshers. Second, I would try to answer this, for experienced professionals who are already in the data science industry and were looking to switch jobs. So for the first category of people who are trying to enter into analytics or data science specifically, so I understand that it's difficult for you guys to, put projects in your resume because you haven't worked actually in the ecosystem, right? But I would say there are multiple ways to do it. You can participate in hackathons, be it Kaggle, be it Analytics Vidya. So these are the very interesting places where you can, participate and also, put down these projects into your resume to foster interest that you actually are interested to explore multiple opportunities. I mean, if you place across these projects in your resume in a very succinct format, I think this really helps. So this, I think this answers the type of projects you should have on your resume. Second, for freshers specifically, I mean, how should you put down your projects, right? I think a very important question. So each analytics project should be broken into multiple components while you write down it on your resume. It starts with what is the business problem you're trying to solve, right? So it can be just a one-liner. This is the business problem I'm trying to solve. Second, it should be, okay, so what is the analytic solution to the problem? I mean, how can I translate the business problem to an analytic solution, right? Then, gradually you move on to, okay, so for implementing this analytic solution, what did you actually do? Right? It can involve maybe, the type of algorithms which you have used, the type of tools, languages which you have used, right? So for a fresher, I would say these three are important components to start with. And I think that's all, right? But I would say that when I'm answering this question specifically for experienced folks who are already working in the data science industry, I would say yes. I mean, you guys already know that you work on multiple projects in the consulting or in the data science industry specifically. But again, you should follow a structure that's called MISI, mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. What it means that you should again structure your resume very similar to what I told for freshers. I mean, you have the business problem, very clearly defined, followed by the analytic solution. I mean, after translating it, then you mention maybe, what are the technical, I would say nitty-gritties, maybe it a tool, a language. What did you do to, carry forward this entire flow throughout? But there's one important component which you should include is a business impact. I mean, what is the exact business impact of this project? This is not something freshers will have right now, but I think for experienced folks, this is something really important. Now, when I'm talking about business impact, there can be multiple ways to define business impact, right? It can be maybe the amount of dollars saved because you did this project, the amount of savings of FTE, I mean amount of manpower savings, right? Or maybe if there's a adherence to SLA, right? So these are the business impacts which you should highlight altogether, because this is what is actually looked forward when a recruiter or a manager, a hiring manager looks at your resume. Yeah. Part of the answer. How do you structure your projects and how do you put your projects in the resume? So it should start with a very structured way of putting down your projects. So when I'm talking about structured way, when you're trying to define a project in your resume, start with what is the business problem you're trying to solve. Then how can you translate that business problem to an analytics solution, right? After translating to analytics solution, then you can mention what are the technical nitty-gritties which you have actually put into while solving the problem, right? So it can be, you've used Python, you've used machine learning algorithm, whatever, followed by a specific business impact. I mean, what is the business impact that is there for you doing this project? So let me give you a simple example. Maybe there's a use case where, the customer base is reducing, right? So you're a online retailer, the customer base is reducing. So the business problem should be, reduction of customer base, right? That's a business problem specifically. So now what will you do exactly to address a business problem? So just an example, maybe you can build a churn prediction model to understand who are the customers who are actually moving out of your network. That's the after translating the problem to a business, to an analytic solution, right? So after translating from an analytic solution to a specific problem, so you can mention that, okay, so how can I build a churn model? So I can build a churn model by using Python, by using machine learning. After you complete the loop, which is starting with, there's a reduction customer base, and finding which are the customers who will churn out. Now, how have you done it? By using Python machine learning, right? Followed by, after building the framework that, okay, now customers are churning out, what is the business impact? So what did you do, right? So you had built a model to understand if a customer churns or not. So you've taken preventive measures, you've defined strategies to stop people from churning out. That's the business impact, right? So I would say you should always try to connect all these 4 dots together, to have it on your resumes all together, so that your resume is making sense, and it's just not a technical resume.